All right, all right. Good morning. Good morning. So glad to have you guys here. Welcome. It's a great day, and we're excited about the things that we are doing here at Akana. In case you don't know, Akana means in the hands of God. That's powerful. That's important to us. But let's talk about the direction that Akana is going, because there's a problem going on, guys. The problem in the United States, as our CEO has coined the phrase, suicide. Literally, we're digging our graves with our fork. I mean, just think about that. That's like suicide every time you pick up the plate. But the problem is that we don't even recognize it, that we've moved from our original diet to this new diet. Now you say, what do you mean a new diet? What's the original diet? Well, if you do your research in history, you'll find out that our ancestors, there was a diet called the African pyramid. We look at that SAD, the standard American diet, the SAD, it's sad, right? But there is a African pyramid, and it was filled with fruits and vegetables as the main source of their diet. That was the original diet. And then over time, through slavery and all these things that we've gone through in our lifetime, we've got to go back to the plants. We need to go get back on track. And as a result, we've given birth to the first generation of children who are now predicted to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. So we know the statistics. We know that heart disease is the number one killer. It's a silent killer. And by silent, it means that oftentimes people don't even know that they have heart disease until death. See, in 2020, nearly 700,000 people died from cardiovascular disease. And about 1 in 5 attacks are silent. The damage is already done, but the person is not even aware of it. And then when we think about our children, oh my God, this is so alarming. An alarming number of 14 to 19-year-olds are showing as much as 40% blocked arteries. That's a travesty. I mean, that's not a statistic that we want to hear about, that we want to recognize, but it is definitely true. I see it oftentimes when I'm doing bioscans for people and they're young. But then here's something that just blew me away. And maybe you know this, but there's something that happens at the age of 45 for African Americans. There's something very significant. And many people don't know what happens. Most people don't even have a clue of what happens when you turn 45 as an African American. But here's something we got to pay close attention to. When we turn 45, you are twice as likely to die from heart disease because of that sad diet, right? See, there's this atherosclerosis levels in our body that oftentimes we don't recognize is progressing. And if you look at this diagram, you see the progression of plaque building up on the walls of the arteries to the point where if you don't do anything about it, you've got a blocked artery. And that means heart attack or stroke or an aneurysm. And when we look at people, sometimes we say, okay, man, they look like the picture of health. But we're judging based on what we see on the outside, but not what's taking place underneath the surface. See, that's what's important. We can look phenomenal on the outside, but it's not what's going on the outside. It's what's going on below the surface. We have a saying here at Akana, we talk about what in the cell is going on. And so we're concerned about what's taking place in the cells of your body. That's why some of us across the country, wellness coaches, are doing these bioscans to help people know what's going on. Because you may be the perfect fitness. You may be lifting weights. You may have muscles and all this kind of stuff. You may be very, very active. But what's going on underneath the surface? So we're tackling the 5 top health-related problems that are impacting our community. There are 5. And we want to touch on those today, but it starts here. It starts with you knowing your blood type. Do you know your blood type? Blood type? What in the world why do I have to know my blood type? Well, your blood type is a more reliable measure of your identity than race, than culture, or geography. It is a genetic blueprint of who you are and a guide to how you can live most healthfully. So every single person needs to know your blood type. Matter of fact, today I dare you to ask people in your circle, people that you come in contact with, just ask them a simple question and find out how many people say, no, I don't know. I don't know. And act like it doesn't matter, but it does. And Akana, we are committed. We're committed to helping 1 million people, actually 1 million families, learn their blood type within the next 18 months. We're on a mission, guys. We're dedicated to finding out blood types and letting people know the importance of their blood type. Now, for those that don't know, there are 4 blood types. So if you tell me you've got G or you got a D, no, that's not blood type. There are 4 blood types, A, B, O, and AB. And I'm gonna say it again, how important it is. Look, watch this. We know that we all have a certain fingerprint, right? But your blood type is the genetic fingerprint that identifies you as surely as your DNA. A is for agrarian, B is for balance, O is for old, AB is for modern. And there's so much to learn about blood type that we've got to become educated because it's important in how our body begins to function. See, we've got this wonderful, sophisticated immune system that identifies whether a substance in your body is a friend or a foe. And one method involves a group of chemical markers called antigens. Maybe you've never heard that term, but these antigens, which are found on the cells of your body, one of the most powerful antigens in the human body is the one that determines blood type. And so when we don't know our blood type, then we're not able to understand how our body is reacting because your blood type is the key to your body's entire immune system. Remember when COVID hit, people were dying, people were on ventilators because their immune system was compromised. But what would have happened had they known their blood type? Well, you're going to find out in just a minute because, see, that blood type, it controls the influence of those viruses, the bacteria, the infections, the chemical stress. Oh my God. And the entire assortment of invaders and conditions that might compromise your immune system. And that's what happened anytime you're sick in your body, anytime you've got illnesses and diseases like cancer, like diabetes, high blood pressure, COVID. Many times you would be able to avoid it if your immune system was not compromised, and it all starts in knowing your blood type, because your blood type determines how food is going to interact with your cells. See, we see some people eating food and it doesn't harm them. And then we see somebody else eating the same food and it causes them to get sick. It causes them to get disease, or it causes them to get inflammation. Your blood type is the single most important determinant in how your body interacts with food you eat, and if those foods will cause inflammation, digestive problems, and or weight gain. I mean, you can be in the same household. One person can have an A, the other person can have an O, and they're eating the same thing, but their body reacts differently. That's because we're eating against our blood type. And the reason we're eating against our blood type is because we don't know our blood type. So when we eat foods containing protein, lectins that are incompatible with our blood type antigen, they target an organ or a bodily system, and they begin to agglutinate the blood cells in that area for disposal. We create highly carcinogenic substances in our body when we regularly consume foods that are high in lectins or animal protein. And the key word here is regularly consumed. Okay? We're not talking about something that you do periodically, every now and then, eating against your blood type. But no, when you don't even know your blood type, you don't even know that there may be some foods that are coming against you because your body, I mean, our creator so designed our bodies in such a phenomenal way to, when invaders, when, let's say if you eat something against your blood type and it causes your body to fight, it's invading, cancer cells, et cetera. Well, 95% of those are just sloughed off. Yeah, because your immune system The way God made our immune system is to protect us from disease. But 5% of those are filtered into the bloodstream, and they react with and destroy the red and white blood cells. And so that makes us move to a place where if that's more than 5% that's happening because the immune system is not operating properly or to its optimum because of the consequence of eating against our blood type, then it's working harder. And then we have agglutination. Well, agglutination is a clumping of bacteria or red cells when held together by antibodies. I hope you're getting this. I hope you understand why it's so powerful and why it's so important for us to know our blood type. So I need you to learn your blood type. Okay, let's take a survey real quick. How many of you know your blood type? Put it in the chat, put it in the chat, put it in the chat. If you are an A, a B, an AB, or an O, go ahead and drop it in the chat if you know. Now, if you don't know your blood type, I want you to drop it in the chat. IDK, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see you put it in the chat. Because the reality is we've got to learn our blood type. The reality is we've got to get this message out. I told you what our goal is, 1 million families, right? Because this is so critical. Because if we don't do it, we can't break this cycle. We've got to break this cycle. There's a generational cycle. I mean, people tell me all the time that my mother had a heart attack, my grandmother had a heart attack, or my great-grandmother had cancer, and my mother had cancer, and my dad had this. So I'm just, destined. But you don't have to let the genetics or what's in the DNA be your destiny. You can break the generational cycle, and it starts with knowing your blood type because the power is in your hands. This is science. We're not making this up. This is science because do you understand that if somebody gives you the wrong blood, it could kill you? I mean, there are people right now who, let's say if you had blood type A, and then you give your blood to a blood type O, well, it would reject it. It could cause them to hemorrhage. It could cause their blood to start clotting, and it could literally kill them. So it's important to know. That's why certain blood types, they always want you to donate blood because they always need certain bloods. They need universal donors to be able to give to anybody. But if you don't know, I mean, you're in a position where you could literally be destined for death. And then not only just giving blood, but I want you to get this. If you eat the wrong food, it's a slow death. So many of our sicknesses and our illness and our diseases are a direct relationship to our blood type. The Bible even says the life of the flesh is in the blood. So the better we have our blood based on putting the right foods in it, the longer our lives are going to be. So here's what we've done. Here's what we've done at Akana. We've put together a list, and this is just a sample. This is a sample. And listen, I'm not totally trying to shock you, but yeah, I am trying to shock you a little bit because if you are a blood type A, something as simple as tomatoes, as simple as tomatoes is causing your body to overwork. And over time, that's detrimental to you because it's causing that inflammation. It's causing whatever it is issue that you may be trying to tackle. Just tomatoes or maybe a banana. Maybe, and it's not what you do sometime. Don't shoot the messenger. The lamb chops, you love them, okay? And you're eating shrimp every week. Blood type Bs, here we go. Uh-oh, here she go. Fried chicken, not even just baked chicken, any kind of chicken. It goes against your blood type and your body's having to overwork. See, if I give you something and I put it in your hand and it's something you like, you love your avocados, right? The Bs, the O's, and the ABs, you love them. I love them. But if I give you one and I tell you up front that it's poisonous, would you eat it? No matter how much you love it, are you going to eat something that's poisonous to you? Well, that's what we're doing unknowing. Because see, you wouldn't have a problem saying, no, I don't want that one. I'll go find me one that don't have no poison in it, right? But if I tell you, that's what we're saying. So that's why we want to educate 1 million families on knowing what not just only what you should avoid, but what's detrimental to you and what you should have. And this is not some new information. This is old information. In 1996, there's a book that came out. Many of you probably have the book in your library. You put it up on the shelf and it's got dust on it. I'm asking you to pull it back out. This book was written in 1996. That means 30 years, something that's been around for 30 years. And most people in the country, even if they heard about the book, they have no clue how powerful and how detrimental the information is. That's why we've got to learn this. But then you say, okay, well, why am I just learning? You know, if you're here today and this is the first time, if you're watching this and this is the first time you've ever heard about blood type, why is that? If the book has been out over 30 years ago, why am I just now hearing the impact that it makes on my life? Well, here's why. Because it isn't taught in medical school. See, anything that's not taught in medical school or created by Big Pharma, it's not going to be promoted in the United States. Because the bottom line is, guys, the more healthy you are, the less money they're going to make. So that's why it's important for us to get the word out and make sure that people know, because there have been things taking place even during our lifetime. Remember, my parents were smokers. They smoked cigarettes like they've gone out of style. Matter of fact, old school had the Raleigh. They smoked Raleigh Filter King, had those coupons on the back, and you get those coupons and they would go and buy stuff. But see, there was a time that cigarettes were promoted as something healthy to do for our bodies. So when we talk about blood type, you say, why haven't I heard? Well, they make transitions of getting this information out because it's all about profits over people. When you think about trans fats, you remember when you might have been a kid or a teenager and you had margarine because they told you to use margarine instead of butter. But now, when's the last time you saw an advertisement that has margarine? Why? Because it's banned. Because they promoted it as healthy, a healthy alternative, but then they realized, oh my goodness, it's not healthy. It's a fake fat. So they're producing something highly toxic, which is called trans fats, because they found out it's processed butter. And those hydrogenated oils, they literally clog up the arteries. So how healthy is it? 0%. So we spent our whole childhood consuming trans fats, and corporate America made billions of dollars off of our pain. And then let's come up to now, 2024. Let's come up to where we are today, 5G cell phones. Now, you may not have heard this yet, but I'm trying to make a point. Cigarettes we thought were good. Trans fats we thought were good. Now we got the 5G towers that are going up, and it's changing the very DNA in our bodies because they're putting it up all over the place. And now they're starting to say, they're telling us there's a new type of diabetes called type 3 diabetes that these kids are getting from these towers from the 5G. Oh my goodness, brain tumors are manifesting in people's lives because they keep their phone on their ear or they keep their iPods in their ears 24/7. And now they're saying there's a problem. What about GMO? See, anytime you can see a product that says non-something, products that say non-GMO, why is it non-GMO? Because now we know that genetically modified foods are not good for us. But can you remember when these were being marketed as the biggest breakthrough? They're going in the lab and they're creating things and they're adding things to our foods and our products to cause them to have better shelf life, all these things that are taking place. And the Gen Zs, oh my God, their cancer rates are growing higher and starting earlier. And then the biggest lie they ever told us, they had it on the milk carton, they had it in all of our lunch kits, that milk does the body good. Nope. Dairy products are known to contribute to mucus production. Often that's what's triggering our colds and our allergies. I've known people to just cut out the dairy, and the allergy disappears. And all of a sudden they're more in a place where they're nourished. However, humans are the only species, think about this, the only species that consumes the milk of another species. What do I mean? The calf drinks the milk from the cow. The child drinks the milk from her mother's breast. Then we get off the breast milk and we drink the milk from the cow. So we're the only species that drinks the milk from another species. This is an unnatural habit, and it's creating an acidic environment in our bodies, which may increase the risk of cancer, as cancer cells thrive in what? An acidic environment. So what we've got to do is take note of what other countries are doing. We could learn, we're the richest country in America, but we need to learn from the other countries. We need to learn from countries like Japan. See, Japan, they're the #1 country in the world on average, and they live the longest on average. I mean, the citizens there in Japan, oh, it's amazing. But see, the problem is not the problem for them. The problem from us, we didn't embrace the blood type philosophy. Japan did. That's one of the countries that did. That's why, on average, they live to be 84.6 years young. Here we are in America, living to be 76 years. And if you're African American, that number drops significantly even more, 71.8. I did a teaching on the other day about how certain communities, certain zip codes live longer or less than others. And it can just be 9 miles down the street because of the grocery stores in that market, the types of food, the quality of foods. It's amazing. And there's evidence. I mean, anecdotal evidence that shows millions of people reported positive improvements by just adhering to blood type practices. So by following the blood type diet, you really can protect yourself from common viruses and infections and take a stand against life-threatening diseases. You can achieve your ideal weight, slow the aging process, and cleanse your body of toxins and unhealthy fats. Now, that was #1, blood type. Another health problem is oxidation. I mean, just take a banana, sit it on in your house after you get it from the store, or an apple, and cut it and watch it turn brown. Because actually, that's what's taking place in our body. We're oxidizing, or we're rusting away. And researchers have finally identified that this is one of the most important contributors to heart disease, wrinkles, cancer, arthritis, and many other problems associated with getting older. So we got to take note of this, because not just African Americans, this is a problem, not just here in the United States, this is a problem in the world. We're literally rotting and rusting. And when you think about what avoids this, how do we stop the body from aging at such an accelerated rate? Well, here's the reality. Once you hit 60, when you start eating fried foods, it's exponentially more damaging. And so the older we get, guess what? We got to do even better and more of. There's some things we've got to change, and it's fruits and vegetables. Because antioxidants, fruits and vegetables are loaded with plant compounds called phytonutrients. So now we see children that are plagued with so many issues right now because the only time they get a fruit or a vegetable is when they get a hamburger that's got some lettuce and tomatoes on it. So these fruits and vegetables are loaded with plant compounds called phytonutrients, which also have antioxidant abilities that help to disable cancer-causing substances. So we need these antioxidants to fight for us, as we talked about the autoimmune system, the immune system. Then we've got the omega-3. Now that's #3. Omega-3. Now let's talk about something that truly has become an epidemic. There are really 4 types of omega fats. You've got omega-3, 6, 7, and 9. And if you don't get it from your food, where are you going to get it from? It means you're going to be deficient of it. If you're not eating the right kinds of foods to give you what you need as far as the right omegas, because all the omegas you need them all, but you don't need an excessive amount of all of the omegas. Say, for instance, omega-3. We got to have omega-3. But what we have is we have too much omega-6. See, most of us have never even heard of what omega-7 is, but omega-7 is really what also helps regulate the fat cells in our body. But when we think about the six is the unhealthy fat. And that's that's what's dominant in too many of our lives, because that's what you're getting from your fast foods. That's what you're getting from your fried foods. And so we got too much of it. So we've got to do something about it, because we need more omega-3. Omega-3 deficiency can have significant negative effects on your health. And now they're starting to recognize that when people are deficient in omega-3, they're having increased heart attacks, strokes, and high blood pressure. There have been samples of people that they've increased their omega-3. It takes away their depression. It changes their direction of their health. It changes the direction of their cognition. For those of depression, anxiety, even Alzheimer's and dementia, increasing their omega-3. It accelerates the progression of diabetes when you don't have enough omega-3 in your body, arthritis, cancer, autoimmune disease. All of these are symptoms of people that are deficient in omega-3. And then their metabolic health. See, when you're deficient, you're trying hard to lose weight, and you can't do it. Obesity, metabolic syndrome, even what's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. See, most of us think the only people that become alcoholics or get liver disease are those that are alcoholics. But there is a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And many times it's because of the lack of omega-3 in your body. So it progresses to liver cirrhosis or liver cancer. And then what I say about the immune system, God made our immune system to work for us. But when we're deficient in omega-3, it's working against us. And it's something that we can do about, because our body needs to be able to be like a Pac-Man and knock off those infections and ward off those cancer cells that come attacking us. When we walk out the door, we're immune to so many things, toxins in the air. And then your bone health, the older we get, one, we're not exercising, right? But when you're deficient in omega-3, it's increasing the risk of osteoporosis that leads to fractures. You fall, you really can't get back up, and a higher risk of complications, especially in older adults. So number 4, we've really got to do this. We've got to protect our gut. Number 4 is protecting your gut. What do we need to protect our gut? This new concept has not been around that long, probably the last 15 years. We've been talking about the microbiome. And so the reality is our immune system controls 70% of our immune system. 70% of our immune, just think about that. So we've got to protect our gut with fiber and prebiotics and probiotics, and we've got to detoxify the gut. When we do this, we're going to cause our immune system to start operating its optimum place. And as a result of that, it's going to ward us off of all the disease. And then last but not least, number 5. Now, I know y'all don't want to talk about number 5, and this looks pretty disgusting, right? But we get parasites. Yeah, some of you don't know it, but you got some little critters crawling around that's eating up all the nutrients, and you're trying to eat the right kind of foods, and the parasites are in there saying, I got this. It's my turn. You can't have it. And the more that happens, the longer that happens in our body, the parasites are extremely damaging for our body. So we've got to eliminate the parasites. Parasites cause chronic infections. They cause mental health problems. And get this, autopsy findings have revealed that the presence of parasites in various organs, including the brain, the liver, the lungs, even in individuals who were not suspected to be infected, suggests that parasites can exist in the body without causing noticeable symptoms, leading to a silent invasion that gradually impairs organ function over time. We need to eliminate those parasites. Now, I'm going to tell you how to do all of this, right? But let me give you this disclaimer. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The information provided herein is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professionals. If you're pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or have a medical condition, please consult with your healthcare provider before using any nutritional supplements. Individual results may vary, but I believe to add to that is that you get results. That's what it's all about. So here's what we're going to do at Akana. We're targeting those 5 key areas that we just talked about. Because I know by now, you're probably convinced, okay, well, show me how to get rid of all of this, right? We're targeting blood type. We're targeting antioxidant protection, the omega fatty acids, the getting the gut health, prebiotic, probiotic, and the fiber, and we're targeting the eliminating of the parasites with the world's first flat belly fuel, covering all these areas in one big swoop. We're going to break this cycle. We're going to fuel your future with our Chocoberry Fusion that's coming out on actually tomorrow. So listen, you want to strengthen your omega-3. You want to add the HMB to help build your muscles. You want the polyphenols and the antioxidants with our Aronia berry to provide protection against chronic disease, all in one. Meal replacement, absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, if you start doing this once or twice a day as a meal replacement, it's going to target all those areas. Because we're so blessed to have a connection that we've made concerning our Aronia berry. Yes, Aronia berry's been around, and you can get it in different places, but it's the standard Aronia berry. It has an ORAC score of over 15,000. But our Aronia berry, because of how it's being grown in the Dakotas at a farm that we get it from, over 40,000 ORAC score. Or what's an ORAC score? That's what helps you understand how effective a berry or a food is at protecting your cells from damage caused by harmful substance in your bodies. The higher the score, the better they are at keeping you healthy. And that's a part of this whole vision. Our vision is a world where every individual has access to the nutrition and resources they need to thrive, leading to healthier, wealthier, and more resilient communities. We aspire to be a catalyst for a global change, fostering a future free from the limitations of disease and poverty, where every corner of the globe flourishes. We're creating blue zones, guys. What's a blue zone? A blue zone is that there are only 6 areas in the whole world where people eat far less animal meat and live longer. That's our goal, to create blue zone communities. I mean, right now these 6 areas are in the world, but it makes common sense for us to apply some of the things that they're doing in those blue zones. And they're not doing things that are so radical. They're just doing things that make sense. I mean, they catch their fresh fish right out of the ocean. Some of them actually have a balanced diet. They're not doing something that's so radical. Some of them actually even might have a chicken on their farm, but it's eating grass, not corn. See, we can't even have some of our foods to go through customs because of some of the things we're doing to our foods here. So that means some of us are going to have to start growing our own foods. And those Greece and Japan and Singapore, those are some of the places where you see blue zones. And their diet is rich in omega-3. They live on the average of 90, 100 years of age. They're not suffering from dementia. They're not suffering from heart attacks and strokes. They're walking, they're dancing, they're having a good time, they're exercising, and they're building communities. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Why can't we have an average life expectancy of 100 years of age? 90 years old, like you're seeing in many of these blue zones. But it starts with us getting this message out that the American diet is killing us. And so we now know we have the power. We have the power to reverse this health crisis. So here it starts, getting and knowing your blood type, then detoxifying the body. We're going to start you with our bitters. You can start there. It's a powerful 4-day detox. It's very easy to do. We'll walk you through it. We'll coach you through it, how to boost your digestion and regulate your appetite. and support your liver detoxification and eliminate those fat soluble toxins, then you'll know your blood type, so you'll know what to eat. And it's very simple to do. You're just going to boil your water, drop it in there, drop the tea bag in there, come back and get it, and start consuming 8 ounces 4 ounces twice a day for 4 days, just 4 days. We can steer clear of sugar for 4 days. Yes, we can. We can let the carbs go for 4 days. Yes, we can. And then here's the beautiful thing. We're going to give you this entire blood type starter kit. Now it's over $1,000 in value, but you're going to be able to know that omega-3 panel, where you sit in your omega-3, 6, and 9. You're going to be able to look and find out where you as it relates to your gut, how healthy is your gut. You're going to know what area of vitamins and minerals that you're deficient in, and even know about your heart, your liver, and your kidneys from the cellular level of your body for just $189 special. Absolutely amazing, right? That's pretty good to get all of that information, get your blood type kit, knowing what your blood type is, getting all this helpful, comprehensive health information. But here's what we'll do, because you're going to need the fuel to be able to take it every month. So if you go on auto ship, which is what we just are presenting at this stage in our business, you can not pay $189, but you can pay $109 and get all of this, the comprehensive test, the blood type starter kit that has a $50 value, the blood type test, the bitters. You're going to even get some samples of the fuel, and you're going to get a digital download to let you know, according to your blood type, here's what I should be eating. Here's what's in my neutral. It's okay to have it. And here's what I should avoid. And let me say, for those that get tripped out in your mind, oh, I can't do without this. It's not what you do some of the time, it's what you do most of the time. Because a lot of these things in our avoid list, we're eating on a regular basis. So we also have additional products that we offer here at Akana. We are a full-fledged wellness company where we've got CBD products and skincare products and hair care products and weight loss products and essential oils. But it starts with knowing your blood type. And it's estimated that 1 to 5% of Americans who are aware of their blood type may have experimented with or followed the blood type diet principles to some extent. But we're going to get serious about this now, because our goal is to help 1.5% of Americans, 1 million families, knowing their blood type. Guess what? When we do that, we're going to be able to reach 5 million people at some point. Because if you just do the math, if you just realize this, all these things that we're going to be able to share, if we help 1.5% of people in the United States, then we're going to take it to 1.5% of the world. And when we get to 1.5% of the world, we're talking about hundreds of millions of people, to the point when that's over, we'll reach 5 million people. 5 million people will be impacted by at least putting a postcard in their hands and help them to learn something super valuable. And that's just if they do $50. That's the basic level. At $50, that equals $250 million in sales. For those of you that are business-minded, you want to be a part of this. For those of you that you want to get that $50 pack, you want to be able to do that. But if you're business-minded, you want to take it to the next level and join forces with us, because that puts money in your pocket as a business person. I mean, even if, let's say, 10% of the people auto ship, let's say everybody doesn't decide they want to auto ship. But if 10% of those people auto ship, that equals $3 million a month in sales through auto ship. You know what auto ship is? That's like cha-ching, it's going to happen automatically. You don't have to look in your back office. You know that's going to happen. And let's just be realistic. What if 80% of the people you talk to, when you ask them the question, do you know your blood type? What if 80% of them reject you? Well, it doesn't matter, because we're still going to impact 1 million people, which is our goal. And it's not just people, it's 1 million families. So if you're looking at this and a little bell has gone off in your head, and you recognize this may be an opportunity for you, not just to be a part of consuming and being a customer, but it might be an opportunity for you to take advantage because there's a well-known business curve that we didn't create it here at Akana. It's called the S curve in business that predicts success. This S curve says that the first 100,000 to 150,000 people in a business, they're the ones who earn 80% of the wealth of the company. When you think about the Avons and the Monavives and the all of the cosmetic companies, Avon, Mary Kay, that's what I was trying to think of, the Mary Kays, the Amways back in the day, it's the people who got in first movers advantage that earned 80% of the wealth of the company when the company went into momentum. Well, let me tell you something. We are, as you can understand from this presentation, in the formulation pioneering stages. That's where we are. We haven't hit momentum yet. We are at about 32,000 customers, about 4,000 distributors. But what's going to happen when we hit momentum? If you join forces with us right now, well, let me close with giving you a few statistics from Harvard Business School. They say select a company at least 18 months old. Okay, we're over 5 years old, almost going towards 6 years old. We made it through a pandemic. We made it through difficult times and thrived. 90% of the companies fail their first 18 months. Well, we don't fall in that category. We're still here. They also say that if a company has less than 500,000 people, well, I just told you, we do. We're about 32,000 customers, 4,000 distributors. That means it's a great opportunity. But look at that last line. If it's less than 100,000, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm challenging you, if you are looking for a place to plant your flag, this is the place to do it, because we are an opportunity of a lifetime. So definitely get back with the person who invited you here. Let them get you signed up. Let them get you moving forward. Let them get you connected with us. Matter of fact, tomorrow at 5 p.m., let me invite everybody. Call your family. If you heard this today, you want to hear it directly from our CEO, who's going to be sharing with us tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That's Central Time. That's 6 o'clock Eastern. That's 3 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. To learn about this whole movement, this whole campaign that we're doing. And matter of fact, call them up and ask them the question, do you know your blood type? And let them know you need to know it, because it's going to unlock the secrets to better health. Get back with the person. They can shoot this flyer to you, post it on your social media sites, send it out to your family and friends, because you love them and you care about them.